Shalom to the elect. I'm going to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. What I said was all the praises, honor, and glory belongs to Yahweh, who is the Heavenly Father, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. In this lesson, I wanted to get an account of old, all right? Initially, I wanted to go into Elijah, but I wanted to start at 2 Kings 1, and read a couple chapters. All right, so it's going to be a long lesson, but Lord willing, is edifying to the elect of Israel. All right, but you know, Elijah. All right, due to the fact Elijah is taken up into heaven by way of a chariot in chapter 2. All right, and the chapters ongoing after that pretty much go into you know, Elisha. And I have some other tabs here. All right, my system has shut down, so I have more than just this open before, but you know, I'm gonna get some other edification as well. So Lord willing, that's edifying. All right. So this is 2 Kings chapter 1, starting verse 1. Then Moab rebelled against Israel after the death of Ahab, and Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria and was sick. Right. And this man Ahaziah is king, right? Was a king, all right, Israelite king, right? And I believe the way you say this is Ahaziah, all right? And Ahaz meaning to hold or possess, and Yah. And this thing about these Yah Israelites and then some of the tribe of Benjamin, all right, I say Jah, right? Because you go here, right? You see it says Yah, and it says Yah here, right? But then you scroll down, it says Jah, all right? There's no J in the letter Hebrew, man. It's like there's no J in the Hebrew alphabet. J didn't come around until um, the year 1524. So there's no J, okay? And there's no I, all right? You know? So, and then for you Israelites that say Yah, right? I'm gonna read this. It says Yah or Yahweh because Jehovah is not the name of the Lord. All right. We know there's no J, E, O, or V in the Hebrew. All right. So we should say Yahweh, but it says Yahweh in a shortened form. So when you say Yah, you're not saying the name of the Lord. You're saying the shortened version. Okay. And the Lord didn't say call his name by the shortened version. No, man. You're supposed to call him by the true name, Yahweh. So this is just Yah here. Okay. But Ahaziah says Yahweh holds. All right. So let's read it again. 2 Kings chapter 1, right, verse 2, it says, and Ahaziah fell down through a lattice in his upper chamber that was in Samaria. All right. Now let me just get this real quick. Samaria on the map of Israel, right? So this, right, wait 1 second. This is Samaria, all right. Oh, hold on. Keeps doing this. I don't know why. All right, but Samaria, I was located in northern Israel. Okay, that was Samaria up here. So he was in this area, right? So it says, and was sick, and he sent messengers and said unto them, go. So he fell through a lattice and became sick, right? So this king and said, so he sent messengers and told them what? Go, inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron, whether I shall recover of this disease. Not a god of Israel, but the god of Ekron, right? So, but the angel of Yahweh said to Elijah the Tishbite, okay? Doesn't mean that he was a heathen, all right? He just lived in this area of Tishbe, okay? It says, arise. So this is the angel telling Elijah, right? Arise, go up to meet the messengers of the king of Samaria, and say unto them, is it not because there is not a God in Israel that ye go to inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron? Now therefore thus saith Yahweh, thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And Elijah departed. So because this king, right, told um because his king was sick and he told his messengers to go inquire of this God, this false God, right? the angel told the prophet Elijah to go tell the messengers the king sent. All right. Are you to pretty much say, are you going to inquire of this false god Baalzebub, the god of Ekron, because as if there's not a God in Israel, and because you did that, you're gonna die. All right. That's what the angel told Elijah to tell those messengers. Verse 5, and when the messengers turned back unto him, he said unto them, why are ye now turned back? And they said unto him, there came a man up to meet us, and said unto us, go, turn again unto the king that sent you, and say unto him, thus saith Yahweh, is it not because there is not a God in Israel, that thou sendest to inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore thou shalt not come down from that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. And he said unto them, what manner of man? So this is them going back to meet the king, right? And telling him the words Elijah told him. And he said unto them, what manner of man was he which came up to meet and told you these words? And look at that word manner. All right. Mashapat. All right, let me just see. All right. We get another translation. Slovakia. NLT. What sort of man was he, the king of man? What did he look like? So he asked them, right? And these scoffers and stuff, they need to take note of this, man. All right. Remember, Elijah was a prophet of the Lord, right? So the king asked his messengers, what type of man, like, what did he look like? What is this man that told you these words look like? Verse 8, and they answered him, he was an hairy man, and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, it is Elijah the Tishbite. So he was a hairy man, and he had a belt of leather on, right? So, the prophets, man, they ain't really, like rough. Okay, hey, the scriptures say how John the Baptist, which is Elijah in the reincarnation, right? This is Matthew chapter 3 and verse 4, right? It says, the preaching of John the Baptist, see? So talking about John the Baptist. In those days came John the Baptist preaching in the wilderness of Judea and saying, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. For this is he that was spoken of by the prophet Isaiah, saying, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his path straight. And the same John had his raiment, his clothing of camel's hair, and his leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. All right? That's spiritual, man. And a leathern girdle about his loins. He had a golden, a leather belt on. Okay? All right? And so did Elijah. And the thing is, right, I read, seen someone before, Israelite that, teaching wrong. He doesn't believe in reincarnation, right? He didn't, because the topic had come up about, you know, reincarnation. And he brought out this scripture, right? Because he refused to believe that Elijah and John the Baptist are the same person. This is the book of Hebrews. Uh, Hebrews 9 and 27. It says, and as it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this is judgment. So he said this negates reincarnation. But no, it doesn't. It just means that, it pretty much, for example, right? We've all been here before, okay? We've all been reincarnated, but you get one time to die in that lifetime. You pretty much die once, right? In your lifetime, and then you're reincarnated again and you come back. That's what it means. Once to die. All right. Doesn't mean that it's not like a YOLO thing. Okay. For example, Elijah, then he died once, right? And then through the process of reincarnation, he came back, as John the Baptist. All right. But Second Kings. You know, so when people talk about us and like to do Anton Daniels and everything, saying we didn't look, they look all rough and dingy or whatever. Well, hey, the men of the Lord or the Bible, holy men of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, they didn't look all, they didn't look all pretty and everything. All right, but continuing on, verse 9, it says, "Then the king sent up." So I'm gonna start from verse 8 again. And they answered him, he was a hairy man and girt with a girdle of leather about his loins. And he said, it is Elijah the Tishbite. Then the king said unto him, a captain of Slack. Then the king sent unto him a captain of 50 with his 50. All right. So the king sent pretty much an army of 50 men. And he went up to him, and behold, he sat on the top of an hill. And he spake unto him, Thou man of the Most High, the king hath said, Come down. All right, so this they marked. So the king sent to Elijah, right, to go. The king sent 50 men to go pretty much get Elijah, right. Verse 10, and Elijah answered and said to the captain of 50, If I be a man of the Most High, then let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And there came down fire from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Again also, he sent unto him another captain of 50 with his 50. And he answered and said unto him, O man of the Most High, thus hath the king said, Come down quickly. And Elijah answered and said unto them, If I be a man of the Most High, let fire come down from heaven and consume thee and thy 50. And the fire of the Most High came down from heaven and consumed him and his 50. Verse 13, and he sent again. So look, we see here, right? The Lord is hey, let me say Elijah is a man of the Lord, right? You see, hey man, you can say the Lord protected Elijah here, man. Because it's a band of 50 men, right? Elijah's sitting, okay, on top of a hill looking down at these men, you know, and the Lord sent fire down, man, and consumed 100 people. All right, you know, verse 13. And it is, hey man, so the Lord don't like it when you mess with his men. And he sent again a captain of the third 50 with his 50. And the third captain of 50 went up and came and fell on his knees before Elijah and besought him and said unto him, O man of Yahweh, I pray thee, let my life and the life of these 50 thy servants be precious in thy sight. Behold, there came fire down from heaven and burnt up the two captains of the former 50s with their 50s. Therefore, let my life now be precious in thy sight. So you see, it goes to show, man, that power, once that power comes and that power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is displayed, people are going to get real humble, So think about in these times when you get spiritual powers, man. All right. People willing to have a change of heart. Okay. Verse 15, it says, And the angel of Yahweh said unto Elijah, Go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And that's the thing, why would you be, think about it. This is a band of 50 men. Think about it. You on the street, right? Say you're just in the middle of the street and 50 people are walking towards you, right? You know, and it could be 50 plus the captain, all right? So maybe 51, all right? You know, however, all right? But think about it. You in the middle of the street and you see 50 people, 51 people walking towards you, right? But the Lord is with you. The Lord consumes them, you see? So, like Yahweh Shah said, man, don't be afraid of men. This devil is going to come down against brothers, man. All right. Let me get that real quick. All right. But the Lord, man, you know, Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah from the west, and its glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy, which is Esau, shall come in like a flood, which he's going to do in these upcoming times, with his troops and everything, right? The spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai shall lift up a standard against him. And that standard, when you look it up, let's get it actually. Strong's H 5127. The Hebrew word is nawas, right? And says to flee, escape, right? You know, so the Lord is going to allow his men to escape that situation that Esau coming, with his troops, certain of his men, he's going to allow to escape that situation by spiritual power. Okay, whether you be to what, take flight or disappear, okay, or even here to put the flight. So you might escape that situation by fighting back with spiritual powers, man. See, this is the times we're coming into, man. All right, it happened with Samson too. All right, they apprehended Samson, but the Lord gave him that spiritual power. Right. But verse 15 now says, and the angel of Yahweh said unto Elijah, go down with him, be not afraid of him. And he arose and went down with him unto the king. And he said unto him, thus saith Yahweh, for as much as thou hast sent messengers to inquire of Baalzebub, the god of Ekron, is it not because there is no God in Israel to inquire of this word? Therefore thou shalt not come down off that bed on which thou art gone up, but shalt surely die. All right. So here it's moving on. So he died according to the word of Yahweh which Elijah had spoken. Okay? The words of the prophets, which are the words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, are true. It says in Jehoram, I'm saying that right, reigned in his stead in the second year of Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, because he had no son. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaziah which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? All right, so moving on to the second chapter now. Okay, now here, right, this is Elijah taken to heaven. 2 Kings 2:1. And it came to pass when Yahweh would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went up with Elisha from Gilgal. Now, Elijah, right, his name in the Hebrew, all right, Strong's H 452, Alayah, okay, Alayah, right? You got the word Allah, which means God or power, right? And then Yah, once again, a shortened way of saying Yahweh. So Alayah, right? And it says, meaning my God is Yahweh or Yahweh is God. And this is what they thought, Yahweh Shai was saying when he was on the cross. He said, Eli, Eli. Let me get that. That's why they said, it's for Elijah. This is Matthew 27, starting at verse 46. It says, and about the ninth hour, Yahweh Shai cried with a loud voice, saying, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. That is to say, my God, see, why hast thou forsaken me? Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said, this man called for Elias, which is Elijah. And look at that word Eli. All right. It's Eli. The Hebrew form is Elio, was Alayah. All right, so the Hebrew origin Allah, which means God, but the Yah makes it, possessive. I believe that's the right word to use. But it's like saying my God. Okay. We'll get that as a side note. Right. Going back. Okay. Now let's look up Elisha. Elisha, Strong's H 477, is Allah Yeshai. Allah Yeshai. It says God of salvation. All right. And I know it doesn't mean that Yahweh Shai's name or the Messiah's name is Yeshai or Yeshai. That doesn't mean that. All right. All right, but it said, I'm going to read it again, 2 Kings 2:1. And it came to pass when Yahweh would take up Elijah into heaven by a whirlwind, that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. Now, I want to get a map just to track this. Gilgal on map. All right. So we have an understanding, what's going on a little bit, right? So here I'm gonna use this. Okay. This is the map's not clear enough. All right. But all right, let me see. I could use this here. Actually, hold on. Try to find a good map. Oh, bear with me 1 second. You know what? I'm gonna just use this. Okay. Actually, you know what? Hold on, because it's gonna go to this. All right, so let me use this here. Okay. All right, so here, right, we got a map here, right? Now, we'll put it up again. It's an old computer, so lock in. All right. But here it says Gilgal. So right here is the Dead Sea, right? This is the Sea of Galilee. So this is like southern Israel, a little bit, right? And it says this is Jericho, Gilgal. So Gilgal is somewhere in this area over here. Somewhere over here, right? So they went from there. It says that Elijah went with Elisha from Gilgal. And Elijah said unto Elisha, tarry here, wait here, I pray thee, for Yahweh hath sent me to Bethel. And Elisha said unto him, as Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they went down to Bethel. Right? So they went from Gilgal to Bethel. Right? So Gilgal to Bethel. Right? So he was in this area traveling. Okay. Let me see what some other maps say. This one. Still over here. Bethel. Somewhere around there. Right. Still see it says over here a little bit. You can see that. See. Oh, wait. All right. You get the idea. Okay. So let me go back to this one. All right. So they went from Bethel. Okay. And it says, so he went to Bethel. Verse 3, and the sons of the prophets that were at Bethel came forth to Elisha and said unto him, knowest thou that Yahweh will take away thy master from thy head today? And he said, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, Elisha, tarry here, I pray thee, for Yahweh hath sent me to Jericho. And he said, as Yahweh liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. So now they went from Bethel to Jericho, right? So Bethel to Jericho. Okay, if you can see that, right? Bethel to Jericho. Okay, they took a journey, right? So verse 5, and the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho. And by the way, Bethel is by in the Hebrew is Bayath Alam, in the house of God. Right? In Jericho, let me see what that means. Irachwa. Okay, Irachwa. It says it's moon. Rock. I believe that's probably moon. All right. Either way. It says, and as he said, it's like, and he said, as Yahweh liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. So they came to Jericho. And the sons of the prophets that were at Jericho came to Elisha and said unto him, knowest thou that Yahweh will take away thy master from thy head today? Salaki, and he answered, yea, I know it. Hold ye your peace. And Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray thee, here, for Yahweh hath sent me to Jordan. And he said, so, Salaki, says, and Elijah said unto him, tarry, I pray thee here, for Yahweh hath sent me to Jordan. And Jordan means descent. It says, and as he said, as Yahweh liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And they two went on. So the Jordan River, okay, they went towards the Jordan River. So they went from Bethel, right? Or no, from Jericho down to the Jordan River, right? Which what you see right here, is the Jordan River. All right. It's the Jordan River. That's straight Slovakia. Let me just type it in here. Right. So I can. All right. You see what this is pointing to. Okay. Once again, this is the Jordan River. All right. Let's go back a little bit. Let me just type in Jericho, Israel map. All right. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna use this. Okay. So the Jericho, and this is the Jordan River right here, right? So they leave from Jericho and going down to the Jordan River. Right now they're on the western side of the Jordan River, right? So it says, and they two went on, and 50 men of the sons of the prophets went and stood the view afar off. And they too stood by Jordan. So Elijah and Elisha stood by the Jordan River. And Elijah took his mantle and wrapped it together and smote the waters, and they were divided hither and thither, here and there, so that they too went over on dry ground. And when you look this up, right, just to give you an idea, somewhat of an idea what's going on, Elijah splits the Jordan, all right. Um, you know, it's an idea, okay. You know, they two went over on dry ground. This is very, and people, hey man, look, if you see somebody do this today, all right, and the water splits like that, okay, you know, then it's like it's like it's like spiritual power, man. Okay, you know that's Elisha, but all right. See, we come from a people that the Lord dealt with, all right, and allowed to do supernatural things, all right. There's men did supernatural things, man. All right. Let me look at that. Let me actually get that word supernatural. Actually, supernatural. It says of a manifestation or event attributed to some force beyond scientific understanding or the laws of nature. Yeah, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is far above science, man. All right. It's paranormal. Manifestations or events considered to be of supernatural origin. All right. Did you get it? So continuing. So they crossed, right? So they crossed the Jordan. They went from Jericho, stood by the river, and crossed over after that, right? Now it says, and it came to pass when they were gone over that Elijah said unto Elisha, ask what I shall do for thee before I be taken away from thee. And Elisha said, I pray thee, let a double portion of thy spirit be upon me. And he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Verse 11. And it came to pass and by the way, all right, well, it's about to get into it now. So it came to pass as they still went on and talked. So now they're on the opposite side of Jordan. So, they're somewhere over here, all right, in this area, okay, I believe, all right. It says, and it came to pass as they still went on and talked that, behold, there appeared a chariot of fire. This is not, literally a chariot of fire. It's talking about a so-called UFO, all right. It says, and horses of fire. Horses representing power, and the fire represents light, okay. Light on a chariot. Because so-called UFOs have light, right? And the word chariot, let's look it up. Chariot, the Hebrew word here is rakab. All right. It's a team chariot, no stone riders. All right. All right. Let me see this. The root word rakab again. All right. It says to mount and ride. All right. But it's a vehicle though. Okay. Cars are even chariots. They just, chariots of men, vehicles of men. So what would be the vehicles of the Heavenly Father? You see, vehicles of the Lord. What would that be? A so-called UFO. That's all it is. All right. That's all. That's what a chariot is. It's a vehicle, but it's a vehicle of the Lord, though. All right. So it says, 2 Kings 2:11, and it came to pass as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. Parted them asunder because you got Elijah and Elisha, right? And so parted them asunder, meaning the chariot beamed up Elijah and left Elisha. So now they both parted asunder. See? And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And a whirlwind, what does a whirlwind do? It takes you up. Okay? What does a tractor beam do? It takes you up. See? Verse 12. And Elisha saw it. See up here, Elijah said, um, and he said, thou hast asked a hard thing. Nevertheless, if thou see me when I am taken from thee, it shall be so unto thee. But if not, it shall not be so. Because Elisha asked for double portion of Elijah's spirit. So Elijah's telling him, if you see it, you see me go up to heaven, then it'll be so. But if you don't see it, then it won't be so. All right. So, but he saw it, 2 Kings 2:12. And Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. See, because he got taken up. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces, and tore them. He took up also the mantle of Elijah that fell from him, and went back and stood by the bank of Jordan. All right. So now now Elisha is alone now. Now he's going back to the bank of Jordan, right? So I have this here, this site, and I gotta check this out more. But I came across it while I was, looking to do this lesson. It's called the BibleJourney.org, right? And I want to go down to this part. Number 32 in the Bible Journey 2. Elijah is taken up to heaven. And this is a good site, brothers probably check this out. All right, but it says here, right? I'm just, because they talk about this. We'll read it. But it says 2 Kings 1-18. During the final years of his reign, the aging king Ahab appoints his son Ahaziah as a co-regent. After Ahab's death, King Ahaziah is badly injured after falling from the window of an upper room in the palace at Samaria. We read about that. He sends messengers to consult Baal-zebub, which means the Lord of the Flies, the Philistine god of Ekron, to see if he will recover. The messengers meet Elijah, who prophesies that Ahaziah will not recover because he has turned away from Yahweh. Ahaziah dies, and his brother Jehoram, shortened to Joram in 2 Kings, becomes king in his place. Right? So 2 Kings 2, verses 1-18. Elijah is nearing the end of his life, and circa 853 BC, he sets off from Gilgal with Elisha and visits the prophet at Bethel and Jericho. So we read about that, right? Elijah then strikes the river Jordan with his cloak, and the water divides so the two men can cross over. We read about that as they slucky. It says, as they climb away from the riverbank, Elijah is taken up to heaven by a whirlwind in a chariot of fire, talking about a so-called UFO, right? Then it says Elisha crosses back over the Jordan to Jericho, where he purifies the spring water. He visits Bethel and Mount Carmel before returning to Samaria. So we're gonna read about that. All right. But however, it says here, right? Tell Mar Elias, and Elijah said near Bethany beyond the Jordan. And I don't know how true this is, but it says Elijah's hill, the hill to the east of the river Jordan, opposite Jericho, believed to be the site from which Elijah was taken up to heaven on a chariot of fire. It's known in Arabic as Tel Mar Elias, meaning Elijah's hill. Elijah's dramatic departure celebrated check this out, right? Elijah's dramatic departure is celebrated in the American gospel song, which really is a slave song, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Okay? And that's a song, once again, the slaves sing. And this chariot that took Elijah up is a so-called UFO. All right? So hey man, you know, it just goes to show you how how spiritual, man, right? But as far as this site, okay, all right, you don't I'm not pretty too much sure this is accurate or not. All right, I'm not sure, but they said that's believed to be the site where he got beamed about. All right, but however, let's continue. Okay, so Second Kings 2:14 it says, and he took the mantle of Elijah that fell from him and smote the waters and said, where is Yahweh power of Elijah? And when he also had smitten the waters, they parted hither and thither, and Elisha went over. So now Elisha, all right, you know, part of the waters now. Okay. See, spiritual power is not far fetched, man. In the scriptures, all right, you know, our forefathers had it. The Lord gave it to our forefathers, Verse 15 it says Elisha sees Elijah. And when the sons of the prophets, so now Elisha crossed back over, right? So it says, and when the sons of the prophets which were to view at Jericho saw him, they said, the spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha. And that, like I was saying before, the guy that was talking about, talking about some pretty much the one that the Israelite dude who doesn't believe in reincarnation. He tried to say that this means, or that we say that this means Elijah spirit is now Elisha. Meaning like now Elijah is Elisha. No, we're not saying that, man. All right, because I remember he brought this out, trying to say that. All right, and this doesn't mean that Elijah was reincarnated as Elisha. No, no, it's not what it means. All right, but it says the spirit of Elijah doth rest on Elisha, and they came to meet him and bowed themselves to the ground before him. Talking about these sons of the prophets that came to meet Elisha when he came back. Verse 16, and they said unto him, behold, now there be with thy servants 50 strong men. Let them go, we pray thee, and seek thy master, lest peradventure the spirit of Yahweh hath taken him up, and cast him upon some mountain or into some valley. And he said, ye shall not send. So they want to go look for Elijah, right? Verse 17, but he said, nah, don't go. And when they urged him till he was ashamed, he said, send. They sent therefore 50 men, and they sought 3 days, but found him not. So they went looking for Elijah for 3 days, but didn't find him. They thought maybe the Lord took him onto some mountain and put him in some valley, right? Verse 18, and when they came again to him, for he tarried at Jericho, talking when they came back to Elisha, he said unto them, did I not say unto you, go not? And the men of the city said unto Elisha, behold, I pray thee, the situation of this city is pleasant, as my Lord seeth, but the water is not, and the ground barren. Let me get this in a different translation to make it understandable. Right? NLT. One day the leaders of the town of Jericho visited Elijah. Slaki visited Elisha. We have a problem, my lord. They told him the town is located in pleasant surroundings, as you can see, but the water is bad and the land is unproductive. Okay. So continuing on, verse 22. So the waters were healed unto this. Oh, Slaki. Verse 20, and he said, bring me a new cruse and put salt therein. And they brought it to him, right? And this cruse, right? Uh, Taza Lachayath. I'm saying that right. Taza Lachayath. It looks like Taza Lachayath. I'm saying that right. It says jar bowl, right? So let's look up ancient cruse. It was something that pretty much can hold something, something like this. All right. You know, holy. Elisha commanded to put salt in there, right? Now, verse 20 it says, verse 21, and he went forth into the spring of the waters and cast the salt in there and said, thus saith Yahweh, I have healed these waters. There shall not be from thence any more death or barren land. So the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spake. All right. You know, it was miraculous things being done, man, in the ancient world. And miraculous things are going to be done once again. Okay, in the times that we live in, people are going to be seeing brothers heal people. Okay, because the scriptures say, right? But Yahweh Shai had himself said this. This is the book of Saint John, chapter 14, verse 12. What are you devils going to do against spiritual power, man? What are you going to do against it? There's nothing you can do against spiritual power. Your blessing is the sword, not spiritual power. It's St. John 14:12. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, the works that I do shall he do also. What are some of the works Yahweh Shai did? All right, let's get that word works. Let me just see what comes up for it. Strong's G 2041 Ergon, right? And it says business, employment, that which anyone is occupied, all right, any product, whatever, anything accomplished by hand, art, industry, or mind. An act, deed, thing done. The idea of working is emphasized in opposition to that which is less than work, but where's some of the deeds Yahweh Shai did? He healed the blind, raised the dead, okay? Healed people, all right? So he said, he that believeth on me, the works that I do, shall he do also, okay? And greater works than these shall he do, because I go unto my Father. So Yahweh Shah said, you're going to be doing greater works than he had done, okay? And we're going to do the works that he did in greater. So that's spiritual power. I mean, he walked on water, man. So how much greater can it get? Do you think flying is unfathomable? Look that word up if you don't know it. You think flying is unfathomable, man? You think healing people you think spiritual powers are unfathomable? Do you not believe in the scriptures? All right. You know, it's not unfathomable, man. Even in the ancient world, our forefathers had done this, and spiritual power gonna come back again, man. All right. People are gonna really see spiritual powers. We have it on a low level now, but hey, you know, hey man, people are really gonna see it. Okay. So verse 22, so the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spake. And he went up from thence unto Bethel. So he went from Jericho, right, to Bethel, right? It says, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city and mocked him and said unto him, go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. So they mocked him, they made fun of him. You see, and let this be a lesson to you scoffers and scorners of the men of the Lord. All right, starting with our apostles, the elders of great millstone, all right, and the brothers under them, the like-minded brothers under them. You people that scoff and scorn want to make stupid videos, all right? Let this be a lesson to you. Go up thou bald head, right? So they were mocking him. It says, and he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of Yahweh. And there came forth two she bears out of the wood. And it said he cursed them, right? Before we read the rest, let's look at that word cursed. Show you that cursing ain't saying fuck shit. Damn, it's not that. All right. That's not even a sin. But cursed, kolal, it's even way of saying it. Let me get to the point. It says to make despicable the curse, to be cursed. Let me get it on Edamon online. Curse, right? It says late old English curse, a prayer that evil or harm befall one. Consignment of a person to an evil fate. Okay? That's what cursing is. It says meaning the evil which has been invoked upon one that causes severe trouble. Yeah, man, somebody's really being a demon to you. You could put curses on them. Ask the Lord to put curses on them. And we have curses, all right? That was that we can pray and ask the Lord to do. Somebody, being a real demon, like vocab, you can put curses on vocab, man. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Babako Shah, Babako Shah, Babako Shah, Shalach Mawath, La, vocab Malone, Babako Shah, Babako Shah, Babako Shah. the water to Wab, right? I'm gonna, you know, but you can put a curse on people, man. Okay, he did it. So but cursing isn't, like cussing. All right, hope you understand. So these people saying, "Oh, cursing is a sin." A Apostle Paul said this, man. He said, though I be rude in speech. Second Corinthians 11:6. But though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge. But we have been thoroughly made manifest among you in all things. Okay, so it's just rude speech. It's not a sin, though. Okay, but Second Kings 2:24, and he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of Yahweh. And what happened? Did the Lord kill him for it? No. And there came forth two she bears out of the wood and tear 42 children of them. So two female bears came and mauled 42 children. For 42, you would think they got away somewhere. Nah, man. So these bears, that was vicious. All right, think about it. They screaming, tearing limbs, tearing flesh or veins and stuff apart. You know, you know how bears is, man. So the Lord honored Elisha's curse. See, so all you mockers and scorners of us, man, what do you think the Lord going to do to you? Verse 25, and he went from thence, from Bethel to Mount Carmel, all right, which it's a show here now, on a map of Israel, right? So, wait, no, it doesn't show the whole thing. Okay, let me see. If you could see this, all right, but, oh, there we go, again. All right, if you could see this, though. So he went from around here to up here, okay? And then it says from thence he returned to Samaria. So back in, this region, northern Israel. All right. So moving forward, Second Kings 3 now, right? And there's more in this site that I want to get, right? Um there's more in here. So Second Kings chapter 3. So Jehoram meets Moab rebellion. Now Jehoram the son of Ahab began to reign over Israel and Samaria the 18th year of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, and reigned 12 years. All right. So this was a king of the northern kingdom, right? All right. It says that he wrought evil in the sight of Yahweh, but not like his father and like his mother, for he had put away the image of Baal that his father had made. Verse 3. Nevertheless, he cleaved unto the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin. He departed not therefrom. So he did evil, right? Verse 4. And Mesha, king of Moab, was a sheep master, and rendered unto the king of Israel 100,000 lambs, and 100,000 rams with the wool. But it came to pass when Ahab was dead that the king of Moab, all right, Mesha, rebelled against the king of Israel. And King Jehoram went out of Samaria the same time and numbered all Israel. And he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab, right? Jehoram, right? Let me just see something. Okay. So this is Jehoram, okay? That the king of Moab is coming against. It says that he went and sent to Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, saying, the king of Moab hath rebelled against me. Wilt thou go with me against Moab to battle? And he said, I will go up. I am as thou art, my people is thy people, and my horses is thy horses. And he said, which way shall we go up? And he answered, the way through the wilderness of Edom. So the king of Israel went, and the king of Judah, and the king of Edom, and they fetched a compass of 7 days' journey, and there was no water for the host and for the cattle that followed them. Host meaning army. And the king of Israel said, Alas, that Yahweh hath called these three kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. But Jehoshaphat said, Is there not here a prophet of Yahweh, that we may inquire of Yahweh by him? And one of the king of Israel's servants answered and said, Here is Elisha the son of Shaphat, which poured water on the hands of Elijah. See, so it's going to show you that the prophets are important, man. The kings will consult to the prophets, okay, of what Yahweh would say, okay. Verse 12, and Jehoshaphat said, The word of Yahweh is with him. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat and the king of Edom went down to him. And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, What have I to do with thee? Get thee to the prophets of thy father and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, Nay, for Yahweh hath called these three kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. And Elisha said, As Yahweh of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely were it not that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, the hand of Yahweh came upon him. And he said, Thus saith Yahweh, Make this valley full of ditches. And see, the prophet's talking rough, man. If he didn't, let me get that in a different translation. All right. Verse 14 in the NLT. Elisha replied, As surely as Yahweh Almighty lives, whom I serve, I wouldn't even bother with you except for my respect for King Jehoshaphat of Judah. See? Prophets were rough back then, man. So they're going to be rough now. People talk about the way Great Millstone talks and everything. Yeah, man. Y'all, the prophets of old were here to, speak how they, pretty much, let me just say like this, Jake, they don't understand what rough is, okay? Nehemiah actually beat some of the people, okay? But it says, verse 16, so Elisha called, for a minstrel to come and play. And what is a minstrel? And the gun, it says to play or strike. So to play a string instrument, all right? Just look at what a minstrel is. Uh, Minstrel, it says a medieval singer or musician, especially one who sang or recited lyric or wrote poetry with a musical accompaniment for the ability. All right. All right. So somebody who's playing an instrument, pretty much, right? It says, verse 16, and he said, Thus saith Yahweh, make this valley full of ditches, right? Because they, as it said, right, they didn't, since there was no water for the host and the army and for the cattle that followed them, right? So they consulted to Elisha the prophet, all right, of what the Lord, pretty much for the Lord, right? Verse 16, it says, and he said, and thus saith Yahweh, make this valley full of ditches. So look, they come into Elisha, right? I know it sounds repetitive, but they come into Elisha, right? But you see how he responded, man. All right, but hey, man, people misregard the prophets, man. All right. Verse 16, and he said, Thus saith Yahweh, make this valley full of ditches. For thus saith Yahweh, ye shall not see wind, neither shall ye see rain. Yet that valley shall be filled with water, that ye may drink, both ye and your cattle and your beasts. And this is but a light thing in the sight of Yahweh. He will deliver the Moabites also into your hands. So they ain't going to see wind nor rain, but the water would fill in those ditches. You see? So think about that. Like how's that gonna happen? All right. You know? So once again, the Lord man do things beyond understanding. Verse 19, and ye shall smite every fenced city and every choice city, and shall fell every good tree, and cut every good tree, and stop all wells of water, and mar every good piece of land with stones. And it came to pass in the morning when the meat offering was offered that behold, there came water by the way of Edom. Right? It says, and the country was filled with water. When all the Moabites heard that the kings were coming to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward, and stood in the border. And they rose. So let me read it again. Verse 21. And when all the Moabites heard that the kings were coming to fight against them, they gathered all that were able to put on armor and upward and stood in the border. So they, got their army together. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water. And the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, so read it again. And they rose up early in the morning, and the sun shone upon the water. All right. And the Moabites saw the water on the other side as red as blood. And they said, this is blood. The kings are surely slain, and they have smitten one another. Now therefore Moab to the spoil. And when they came, so they thought that the kings saw had slain each other, so they went. So they was like, all right, you know what? Let's go take what we got, take what we could take. Verse 24. Let's go. They was pretty much saying like, let's go. Let's go get the spoils. Verse 24. When they came to the camp of Israel, the Israelites rose up and smote the Moabites, so that they fled before them. But they went forward, smiting the Moabites, even in their country. And they beat down the cities, and on every good piece of land cast every man a stone and filled it. And they stopped all the wells of water, and felled all the good trees. Only in Kirharaseth, if I'm saying that right, left they the stones thereof. Howbeit the slingers went about and smote it. And when the king of Moab saw that the battle was too sore for him, he took with him 700 men that drew swords to break through even unto the king of Edom, but they could not. Then he took his eldest son that should have reigned in his stead, and offered him for a burnt offering upon the wall. And there was great indignation against Israel, and they departed from him and returned to their own land. Okay, now, all right, because uh Elisha, Moab, the kings of Israel and Edom, right? And wait 1 second. All right. So let me go ahead and get this back on this site, the Bible Journey. I'll go to the next page. Now, here, right? So it says Elisha performs miracles and healings. It says 2 Kings 3:127, the chapter we just read. When he dies in 852 BC, King Ahab is succeeded by his son Joram, who continues like his father to worship Baal. On the death of Ahab, King Mesha of Moab refuses to pay his annual tribute to the new king of Israel. In 849 BC, King Joram of Israel and King Jehoshaphat of Judah march out together into the wilderness of Edom to fight King Mesha of Moab. When the water supply runs out, Elisha orders them to dig ditches across a dry stream bed, which is filled by a flash flood the next morning. The Israelite sling throwers then attack Moab's capital city, Kir Haraseth, meaning the wall of broken pottery, on the site of modern day Karak, but fail to take the city. They're terrified. Said Slovakia. Said they're terrified when they see King Mesha sacrificing his eldest son as Moabite god on the city walls. However, right, it says King Mesha inscribed an account of his victory over the Israelites on a large piece of basalt, the Mesha Stele, which can still be seen today in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Just want to read something real quick. Slovakia. It's a lot. Let me just scroll down. Right. However, point is, right, because I wanted to get this, I saw this, and they had, you know, it had caught my eye when I was looking through the site, right? And this is known as the Moabite stone. Um, right here, it's also called the Mesha stele, because remember this guy Mesha, one of the kings of Moab. By the way, Moab is so-called Chinese, right? But Mesha, this is Mesha, king of Moab. That's why it's called the Mesha stele or the Moabite stone, right? It says, what is the significance of the Moabite stone? The Moabite stone is an inscription proclaiming the victory of King Mesha of Moab over the ancient Israelite kingdom in the 19th century BCE. King Mesha proclaims that in this inscription that he conquered ancient Israel and that Israel has perished forever. Right, just see. Slovakia. All right, let me just get the. I don't want to look too long into it. Let me just get the inscription point, right? Oh, my friend, let me pull up a picture. All right, I just want to show you something. That the name of the Lord it was written on the Moabite stone, okay, or the Mesha stele, right? So here is the Mesha stele, right? Now this dude, Slovakia, click here, discover the Moabite stone. Uh, um, all right, Slovakia. I was trying to get to the point. Let me see. Maybe I have it. This is what you see here. This is ancient Paleo Hebrew. Okay, it's Paleo Hebrew, man. All right. You have Assyrian Hebrew, but this is ancient Hebrew. Okay. And so you're gonna see the name Yahweh, if I can find it in here. All right. Um trying to find a certain part of it. But pretty much, I guess you could. I don't want to play the video. That dude is just, for copyright reasons. Okay, right here. All right. So they show right here, right on the message stele. You look at it, and you can look at it further if you want. But see, this is Yahweh. It says Yahweh right here. Yahweh. That's in ancient Hebrew. All right. And it's four characters. Like in Assyrian Hebrew, it's four characters. Okay. But it's Yahweh. That's the name of the Most High. Yahweh. All right. But, you know, getting that. Okay. So, now in the chapter 4. All right. But let me see what the rest of this says. And it says this stele is located in the Louvre Museum in Paris, France. All right. So, all right. Let me see here. It says nearly 900 years down here. Nearly 900 years later, these miracles of Elisha would have been well known to Yahweh Shai's audience when he performed miracles such as curing the 10 lepers, feeding the 5,000 with 5 small loaves of barley bread, and raising Jairus' daughter. The people were amazed and asked, "Who is he? Is he Elijah, one of the prophets?" Because what? Prophets was out there, doing supernatural things, man. Okay. And I'm going to read this, 2 Kings 4. All right, it's going to be the last chapter for this lesson. 2 Kings 4 says the widow's oil now says now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha, saying, "Thy servant my husband is dead." Right. So a woman the wives of the sons of the prophets, crying to Elisha, saying, thy servant, my husband, so is dead. And thou knowest that thy servant did fear Yahweh, and the creditor is come to take unto him my two sons to be bondmen. It says, and Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, thy handmaid hath not anything in the house save a pot of oil. And then he said, go, borrow thee vessels abroad of all thy neighbors, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. And when thou art come in, thou shalt shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. So she went from him and shut the door upon her and upon her sons, who brought the vessels to her, and she poured out. And it came to pass, when the vessels were full, that she said unto her son, bring me yet a vessel. And he said unto her, there is not a vessel more, and the oil stayed. Then she came and told the man of the Most High, and he said, go, sell the oil and pay the debt, and live thou and thy children of the rest. All right. Verse 8 now, the Shunammite woman, it says, and it fell on the day that Elisha passed to Shunem. Let me just see if I could just quickly find where this is at. Shawanam says double resting place, a city in Issachar, located 5 miles south of Mount Tabor. Let me just see. Shunem. Right. Yeah, you can say that. Salakino. So it's in the area of Chicago. All right. But on that, right? It says the Shunammite's son. Okay. It says, and it fell on the day that Elisha passed to Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. Right. And so it was that as oft as he passed by, as often as he passed by, he turned in there to eat bread. So he would, as much as he passed by, he would go to eat bread there. And she said unto her husband, behold, now I perceive that this is an holy man of the Most High, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in thither. All right, let me look that up in a translation. NLT. Let's build a small room for him on the roof and furnish it. Or it says wall, all right? But it says furnish it with a bed, a table, a chair, and a lamp. And he will have a place to stay whenever he comes by. It says, and it fell on the day that he came thither, and he turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, call this Shunammite. And when he had called her, she stood before him. All right. And he said unto him, say now unto her, behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? Wouldst thou be spoken for to the king or to the captain of the host? And she answered, I dwell among mine own people. Right? It says, and he said, what then is to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, verily she hath no child, and her husband is old. All right, so bear with me just 1 second. Let me just look this up. All right. Okay. So this verse 14 said, what is then to be done for her? And Gehazi answered, verily she hath no child, and her husband is old. And LT later, Elisha asked Gehazi, what can we do for her? Gehazi replied, she doesn't have a son, and her husband is an old man. All right. So it says, and he said about this sea, so pretty much, like saying what can be done for her. Okay. And you know, told him like, so it's Gehazi answered him, was like, she doesn't have a son. All right, so we can she doesn't have a son, and her husband is old, right? Verse 15, and he said, call her. And when he had called her, she stood in the door. And he said, about this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son. And she said, Nay, my lord, thou man of the Most High, do not lie unto thine handmaid. And the woman conceived and bare a son at that season that Elisha had said unto her, according to the time of life. All right. Verse 18. And when the child was grown, it fell on the day that he went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to a lad, Carry him to his mother. That's just go to show you, man. It's nothing impossible with Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. You know, it says this her husband is old and she didn't have a child, right? So I mean, her husband was alive, so she can't go commit adultery, right? You know, but Lord had it set up that where she would have another son, okay, or that's like that she would have a son, pretty much, right? Regardless of circumstances, man. Ain't nothing impossible with Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. Verse 18. And when his child was grown, right, it fell on the day that he went out to his father to the reapers, and he said unto his father, My head, my head. And he said to a lad, Carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat on her knees till noon and then died. So this son that she had died, right? And she went up and laid him on the bed of the man of the Most High and shut the door upon him and went out. Okay. And she called unto her husband and said, Send me, I pray thee, one of the young men and one of the asses, meaning the donkeys, that I may run to the man of the Most High and come again. All right. It says, And he said, Wherefore wilt thou go to him today? It is neither new moon nor Sabbath. And she said, It shall be well. And that's other thing, man. It just goes to show the new moon and the Sabbath. The new moon is a Sabbath, man, because you look through the scriptures, most of the, a lot of the times, like for example, brothers did a lesson, and it just goes to show you that the new moon and the Sabbath, they, sometimes they're mentioned together. Okay, a new moon is a Sabbath. It's treated as a Sabbath. It says, and she said, It shall be well. Then she saddled an ass. Um, and said to her servant, Drive and go forward. Slack not thy riding from me, except I bid thee. So she went and came unto the man of the Most High to Mount Carmel. And it came to pass, when the man of the Most High saw her afar off, that he said to Gehazi his servant, Behold, yonder is that Shunammite. So she come into Mount Carmel, right? And let me just see something real quick. Okay. This is Mount Carmel. All right. Mount Carmel. That's Mount Carmel. Let me just look that up because I see that, you just see a lot of scriptures. I just want to, look it up here. Carmel. Carmel means garden land. All right. Har meaning mountain. Okay. Um, Har, see, mount. So, like, for example, Armageddon in the Hebrew is Har Magadwan, meaning mountain of the troops. Okay. But Elisha, right, was dwelling in this mountain. So she went and came into the man of the Most High to Mount Carmel. All right. It says, and it came to pass when the man of the Most High saw her afar off, that he said to Gehazi his servant, Behold, yonder is that Shunammite. So he's seeing her afar off. He's like, okay, there goes that Shunammite woman. Run now, I pray thee, to meet her, and say unto her, Is it well with thee? Is it well with thy husband? Is it well with the child? And she answered, It is well. And when she came to the man of the Most High to the hill, she caught him by the feet. But Gehazi came near to thrust her away. And the man of the Most High said, Let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And Yahweh hath hid it from me, and hath not told me. Then she said, Did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, Do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, Gird up thy loins, and take my staff in thine hand, and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not, and if any salute thee, answer him not again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. And the mother of the child said, As Yahweh liveth and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them, and laid the staff upon the face of the child. But there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him, and told him, saying, The child is not awake. And listen, right? And when Elisha was coming to the house, behold, the child was dead, and laid upon his bed. He went in therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto Yahweh. And he went up, and lay upon a child, and put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands. And he stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Then he returned and walked in the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. See, once again, man, the prophets, man, we're doing very miraculous things. All right, you know, this is healing right here. All right, so it's not far fetched. Certain brothers gonna be healing people in Jacob's trouble. Right? Verse 36. And he called Gehazi and said, Call the Shunammite. So he called her. And when she was come in unto him, he said, Take up thy son. Then she went in and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground and took up her son and went out. See? Hey, man. These are stories, of our forefathers, man. You get edification out of these. Okay? Now it says here, the poisonous stew. And Elisha came again to Gilgal, and there was a dearth in the land, meaning a famine. And the sons of the prophets were sitting before him, and he said unto his servant, Set on the great pot, and seethe pottage for the sons of the prophets. And one went out into the field to gather herbs, and found a wild vine, and gathered thereof wild gourds his lap full, and came and shred them into the pot of pottage, but they knew them not. All right. Let me get this in the other translation. NLT. One of the young men went out into the field to gather herbs, and came back with a pocket full of wild gourds. He shredded them and put them into the pot without realizing they were poisonous. Okay. NIV. One of them went out into the fields to gather herbs and found a wild vine and picked as many of its gourds as his garment could hold. When he returned, he cut them up into the pot of stew, though no one knew what they were. All right. Okay. Let me see what it says from gourds. Pakwa Ith. Quaith. Gourds. All right. But going back, right? It says, verse 40. It says, So they poured out for the men to eat, and it came to pass as they were eating of the pottage, that they cried out and said, O thou man of the Most High, there is death in the pot, and they could not eat thereof. But he said, Then bring meal. So there's something wrong with this, right? Something wrong with this stew, right? But he said, Then bring meal. And he cast it into the pot, and he said, Pour out for the people, that they may eat. And there was no harm in the pot. Okay? Get that in the translation. Elisha said, NLT, Elisha said, Bring me some flour. Then he threw it into the pot and said, Now it's all right. Go ahead and eat. And then it did not harm them. See? Hey, man, spiritual powers is not far-fetched. Okay? Verse 42 says, And there came a man from Baal Shalisha and brought the man of the Most High bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley and 4 ears of corn and the husk thereof. And he said, Give unto the people that they may eat. And his servitor said, What, should I set this before 100 men? He said again, Give the people that they may eat, for thus saith Yahweh, they shall eat and shall leave thereof. So he said it. So let me read this again, Salaki. Let's read it fast. 2 Kings 4:42. And there came a man from Baal Shalisha, and brought the man of the Most High bread of the first fruits, 20 loaves of barley, and 4 ears of corn and the husk thereof. And he said, Give unto the people that they may eat. And his servitor said, What, should I set this before 100 men? He said again, Give the people that they may eat, for thus saith Yahweh, they shall eat and shall leave thereof. So he set it before them, and they did eat and left thereof according to the word of Yahweh. Let me get this in NLT. What is serving explained? Feed 100 people with only this. But Elisha repeated, gave it to the people so they can eat. For this is what Yahweh says: everyone will eat, and there will even be some left over. Let me get the first verse 42 in the NLT. One day a man from Baal Shalisha brought the man of the Most High sack of fresh grain and 20 loaves of barley bread made from the first grain of his harvest. Elisha said, give it to people so they can eat. So pretty much, you read the next verse, right? After that, you know, um, he's like, what? Feed like 100 people with only this, you know. But Elisha was like, the Lord said everyone going to eat and have left over. Okay. And that's exactly what happened. See? So, so here we have, the man bringing that is left over. All right. The poisonous stew, but that got healed. Okay. And we have this woman who desired a son. She got a son, or this woman, she got a son. Her son died and was healed. Okay. Then we have uh up here, the woman that needed to pay debt, but this oil, and she was able to pay the debt. All right. So hey man, miraculous things happen, but this is an account of old, man. All right, and you go into these stories, all right, and get edification out of it of our forefathers, man. All right, so I just wanted to do this lesson going into Elisha. So a Lord was edifying, giving all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Akakodash, to belong to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.